Morning everybody, you are very welcome back to the second Back to Basics baking series with myself and Jem, and today we're going to be making a beautiful Genoise sponge. Hang around because we're going to be giving away a copy of my new best-selling cookery book as well, so make sure you hang around and I'll be able to explain to you what you need to do to enter. I probably should have checked first. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm just looking here, there's people starting to join, which is brilliant. Good morning everyone, happy Saturday. Linda, how are you? I hope you can hear me okay. If you can give me a little thumbs up or a wave or something, that would be amazing. Brilliant, lots of people joining in. I hope that you're curled up relaxing. Brilliant, thank you Linda, I'm delighted that you can hear me okay. Golden Girl West, great, we got a little thumbs up and cake and everything. Good morning Angela, how are you? Yes, we have lots of people joining in. Okay, brilliant. So yes, as I was just saying at the beginning of the Denise, thank you for the thumbs up. I am delighted, and welcome Bernie Ann 5 there as well. I'm just starting, this is the second Back to Basics baking series with Jem. Thank you Margaret. So today we're going to be looking at Genoise sponges. So come to South Africa. I could be very tempted Linda. So the first class that we've done, we talked about pastry, and we were making short crust pastry, which would be ideal for quiche or savoury tarts, and sweet pastry. We made a lovely sweet pastry tart. So again, these classes really, and the idea behind them all is just to kind of strip things back and leave things nice and simple. So I think a sponge recipe is absolutely key to your repertoire. If you are a keen baker, or if you're a new baker as well, it's nice to have a lovely sponge recipe up your sleeve. So this is a Genoise sponge. This is slightly different than your general butter and your butter and sugar sponge that you would generally make for a sponge. They're a little bit more heavy. This one is light, airy, fluffy, really gorgeous for pairing with lots of whether it's cream and fruit or berries or lemon curd or yeah, there's so many fillings you can put with this as well. Maura, thank you so much. So just on that note, thank you Maura. This is my new cookbook for anyone who hasn't picked up a copy already. It's been going amazingly well. I just checked this morning and it's number 3 in Ireland this week, 8 weeks after publication, so absolutely chuffed with that. So Jem have kindly picked up a couple of copies and we're going to be giving away a copy to somebody today. All you have to do is after the live finishes, or you can do it now, but generally I'd say after we've ended the live, because sometimes the comments disappear after the live has ended. Just tag your best friend and make sure that you're following myself and Jem, and you're in for a chance, and Jem will post you out a copy of the book if you are picked. But again, as I said, no need to do that straight away now. You can comment after the live has ended, because I've noticed all the questions and comments that happen during the live tend to disappear once the live has ended. So yeah, you can chill out, make a cup of tea, relax, but yeah, lovely little giveaway of the new book today. And it's a perfect book if you are a seasoned or a novice baker as well. So to get kick-started today, excuse me, I'm going to be making a delicious Genoise sponge. I'm not sure, actually, again, this is the nosy part of me. Before we kickstart, where is everyone watching in from? I'd love to know what part of the country or the world you're coming in from. I know now we have Lyndon from South Africa, which is a very, very strong start. But yeah, I'd love to know where you are tuning in from. Let me know. And I will, hopefully I've been there. Leicester, UK. Gorgeous, very, very nice. We have Maynooth coming in here as well. Maynooth is beautiful as well. Love Maynooth. Tipperary, we love Tipperary. We have County Cork coming in, represented. Also love Cork. Where else? We have Ballyhaise and Cavan, Margaret. Thank you for tuning in. Lovely, the green and red of Mayo. Thank you, Mary. We have Margaret coming in from Cavan as well. Brilliant. So we have some lovely, a lovely mix there as well. So Pakistan as well. Oh my God, goodness, we are very, very welcome. It's lovely to see so many people tuning in from different places. Ballyconnell, we are well represented on the Cavan front as well. So Carrigan, Shannon, gorgeous part of the country. Beautiful. So we have a lovely mix of people tuning in from all over the world, which is brilliant. We love to see it. We love to see it, especially up on a lovely Saturday morning like this. So it's a little bit overcast here today, which is the perfect day for baking as well. We love Portmarnock, gorgeous part of the world. There's a gorgeous little shop there, Maggie and Me, I think it's called. It's really lovely. If you're in that area, you should check it out. So yes, so that is amazing. Love all the different people, from tuning in from all over the place. So you're very, very welcome. Thank you for joining. This is a relatively simple, easy class as well. Made load of your loaf tin bakes, all gorgeous. The way my handheld mixer is 47 years old. Just Colette, stop it. 47 years old, that's amazing. Delighted to hear that you've made loads of recipes from the book and that the mixer is still going strong after 47 years. That is gorgeous, well done, and delighted that you're loving the recipes as well. So yeah, so today, generally speaking, your basic sponge recipe then is your butter and sugar. You mix that together, you add in your vanilla, your eggs, your flour. Will the video be saved? Yes, Margaret. As soon as this video has ended, I'll be saving it on my page, and it'll be on Jem's page as well. Tuning in from Johannesburg, you're very, very welcome. So yeah, on both my page and Jem's page as well, okay? So you'll get the full recipe in the caption as well of the video. So once this is done, the recipe will be underneath it. So the recipe that I'm making today, you'll be able to find it underneath this post as well. So yeah, back to your basic sponge, which is your butter, sugar, eggs. Basically, you mix your butter and your sugar together until it's light and creamy. Then you add in your eggs, then you sieve in your flour. Depends if you're using a self-raising or plain, and then you bake that in the oven. Now, naturally, butter is going to add lovely flavour to your sponge. Where this Genoise that I'm making today doesn't have butter in it. It's basically a mix, like a sabayon of eggs and sugar, and then we add in our melting. I'm after thinking of something. I'm just going to pop all that talking of butter. We're adding in a little bit of melted butter in at the very end. I'm just going to melt that down as I'm talking to you here. So it's a much lighter sponge. It's more, it's not as crumbly. It's lighter, but it holds its texture really, really lovely. So again, we're going to be making the Genoise here with you today. And I have one that I baked this morning, and then I'm just going to decorate it very simply, very classically with a bit of jam, cream and fresh berries. It's a really gorgeous summer bake. So if you've not tried Genoise sponge before, I definitely would recommend it. Have you ever made a sponge and you get that dome or that peak on the top? So you've got two 8-inch sandwich in the oven sponge cakes, and then they dome and peak, and then you have to be like cutting off the dome on the top and flipping them over, trying to get two kind of level sponges. I know it happens to me all the time. When I'm making the other sponge, that's creaming the butter, sugar, adding in the eggs and then the flour. And the reason for that is it can be over mixing as well, okay? So the one that I'm going to show you today always results in two beautiful level sponges. So if you're going to be making a lovely cake that you're going to be sandwiching the two sponges together, this recipe really is gorgeous, really, really lovely. And you don't have to be worrying about the doming or the peaking of the sponge in the sandwich tin. So again, another recipe, especially if you're making a celebration cake, or you're making a wedding cake or a birthday cake or an anniversary, whatever that may look like, and you want to have a couple of sponges, but they're all lovely and even in layers, then this really is the perfect Genoise recipe for you, okay? It's a little bit different than some of the other recipes you'll find online. I add a little bit of honey and corn flour into it, and we'll get to that in a minute as to why I add those in, but they always result in a really, really lovely sponge, okay? We'll get back to this later on. I'm just going to pop this to one side. Okay, so for the sponge, what we're going to be doing with, I have my little computer opened up here. I should have memorized this, but I'm going to pop this up here. I'll see if I can get, here we are, Genoise sponge. So for the recipe that we're going to be making today, you're going to need 5 medium eggs at room temperature. Really important whenever you're baking anything that your eggs are at room temperature, okay? Castor sugar, 120 grams, 15 grams of honey, so about a tablespoon or so, pinch of salt, 115 grams of the Gem plain flour, 30 grams of corn flour. I'll explain why I'm using that later, and 20 grams of melted butter, which has reminded me. I'm going to take my butter out here and just set it to one side here, so it is melted and done its thing. Okay, so again, just to recap, 5 medium eggs, 120 grams of Gem castor sugar, 15 grams of honey, pinch of salt, 115 grams of Gem plain flour, 30 grams of corn flour, and 20 grams of melted butter. And that will make 2 8-inch sandwiches, or 2 8-inch sponges that you can then turn into your cake, your sandwich, okay? So they're the ingredients that's needed. Very simple, very basic. We're going to get started on these. What you may have noticed is there's no raising agent in this sponge. And the reason for that is we're going to be whisking our eggs and our sugar on full speed for like 2-3 minutes until it doubles in size, and that is where we're going to be getting the aeration. It's a natural leavener, so it'll so you'll talk about raising agents. You have like your baking powder, your bicarbonate of soda, yeast is another one that'll help bread to rise. But there's also natural raising agents, and eggs is one of them. So we're going to be whisking that up until it's doubled in size, and then we will be gently folding in our dry ingredients, and that's what gives this sponge a lovely light touch. You need to be careful with this that we don't overmix it once we add in the flour, but I will get into all of that as we start. Okay, to begin with, I have my mixing bowl here, nice and clean. I'm using a stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer at home, that's completely fine. A handheld mixer works just as good. Might take a little bit longer, but 100% that will work. And the same goes for if you don't have a handheld mixer or a stand mixer, you can whisk it by hand. That's how we were trained in college back in the day. But you, it'll take a lot, okay? So take a little bit of a break in between. But a handheld mixers these days are very, inexpensive. So I would definitely recommend picking up one of these, especially when you're making sponges. Okay, into the bowl here. I'm going to start off with my medium room temperature eggs. I'm going to be popping those in one by one, ensuring that we're not getting any little bits of shell in there. I always tap my eggs either off each other or on the table. I find if you crack your eggs against the side of a sharp bowl, that's where you get the little fragments of eggshell going in there as well. Ursula, morning. I hope you're keeping well. I am good, thank you very much. So 5 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All in. So they're all in the bowl. Into that now, what I'm going to be doing is adding in my caster sugar directly on top. And then I have my honey. Just going to grab a little spoon here. And I'm just going to spoon the honey. I'm keeping an eye. If you have any questions, guys, don't be afraid to ask. I'm just going to pop the honey in there. So the honey is obviously going to be adding lovely sweetness to the sponge, but it also helps with the coloration. It kind of caramelizes and makes your sponge a lovely golden brown color, okay? So I have my eggs, my sugar, my honey gone in here. I'm going to whisk this for about a minute or two. You're going to have to bear with the noise of the mixer behind me. While that's happening, I'm just going to sieve my flour. So in here, I have my flour, my salt, and my corn flour. I'm just going to give that a sieve while this is whisking, but I'm going to pop this onto my mixer with the whisk attachment, okay? Because when you're making a meringue or if you're making a sponge like this, the whisk is what incorporates all of that air into your sponge. If you're using your paddle attachment, that's more for creaming, like butter and sugar, or if you're making brownies or cookies. Whisk attachment when you're trying to get air into your sponge, okay? So I'm just going to pop this onto my mixer behind me, turn it on full whack, and I'm just going to clean up here, sieve my flour as that's mixing. But just to show you now, there's all our ingredients in the bottom of the bowl here, and I'm just going to pop this on here, full tilt, and get that going. There we go. Bear with the noise, everybody. Now, do we have any questions? Okay, I think there was one there. Hold on. I make this sponge when making Swiss rolls, but I've never added honey or corn flour. Why do you add these? So yes, I hope you can hear me. With the mixer, the recipe will be available underneath this live. Once the video ends, I'll save it down. Just with the mixer behind me, I hope you can hear me okay, just for a couple of minutes. Honey is going to add sweetness, and it's going to help give a golden brown colour to your sponges. So it'll help with the coloration. Good morning, Anne. And the corn flour is to reduce the amount of gluten that's in the recipe, okay? So in America, there's a thing called cake flour, C-A-K-E, cake flour, and that is a blend of plain flour and corn flour. And that will reduce the amount of protein and gluten that's in the flour and leave you with a much lighter, delicate sponge. So this is why I'm adding corn flour into my flour today, and this will leave it a much lighter sponge, because if you over mix any sort of a sponge, once you've added in your flour, it'll get quite tense and quite stiff, and you'll be left with a heavy, dense sponge. So by adding in the corn flour, it will lighten that up and leave you with a much, much lighter sponge, okay? So in here, I have my flour, my corn flour, and I have my pinch of salt. What's the reason for adding salt, okay? So salt, again, is good for flavor, and it also helps with browning, so giving your bake a lovely brown color as well, okay? So honey for sweetness, flavor, and browning. Corn flour is to lighten your sponge and leave it lighter than just using regular plain flour, okay? So I would say another minute on the mix, and then I can turn down the volume on that, okay? I'm going to grab a little mixing bowl, and I'm just going to sieve my flour, corn flour, and salt together, just to remove any lumps and aerate it. Now, so that is flour, corn flour, salt, sieved together. I'm going to clean off the table here. I should have a cloth. I'm going to be mixing my sponge using this spatula, because I can kind of get in and mix all of my dry ingredients together. So I like to use a spatula rather than using a whisk. Okay, so I think yes, we are good to go at this point. So now you can officially hear me again. So I just want to show you. So I wasn't keeping track of this. Was I probably talking for maybe 2 minutes or so? And look at the difference in there. So you're getting this because you're using room temperature eggs. So that will always whisk up much, much better, okay? And then obviously you can do the 8 test, where if you drizzle that over the top, you can see where the ribbons and the tracks of that lovely sponge remains, okay? We have spent there 2-3 minutes getting as much air into that as possible. The last thing we want to do at this stage now is start to bang this bowl, bang or whisk off the side of the bowl to get rid of any of the mix on here. Just kind of shake it off as best you can. We want to be light and airy and take things nice and easy at this point, okay? So again, not banging the bowl too much, okay? Or at all, should I say. So as you can see from the 5 eggs and the sugar and what else do we have in there? We have the sugar, why is my brain gone blank? We have the sugar, the honey, excuse me, and the eggs. And that has probably tripled in size, I'd say. So we have this lovely, light and airy. I have saved my flour mixture. So that's what I was doing if you couldn't hear me in the background. So that is my flour, my corn flour, and my salt. Again, if you couldn't hear me as the mixer was going, I'm not sure if you could or not. By adding corn flour into your plain flour, create something called cake flour. So it reduces the amount of protein and gluten that's in the flour, which leaves you with a much more delicate flour to use. So if you're making biscuits or cookies or even sponges, it leaves them much lighter and crumbly. Now I've sieved this already into the bowl, but I'm just going to sieve it in one last time in here. And that is just going to ensure that we're getting any little lumps that are out there, but also getting as much air as possible into this mix, okay? The last thing that I need to do is add in my melted butter, okay? So firstly, very gently, coming from the outside, what's going to happen is all of your flour and corn flour and salt, it's heavier, much heavier than the lovely eggs that we've just created here. So it's going to want to sink to the bottom of the bowl. So really important that you kind of get into the bottom of the bowl while being nice and gentle. So I'm kind of turning the mix here. So I'm not kind of getting in there and giving it a good old mix. That's going to knock all the air out. So we definitely just want to get in here and mix all of this around. So we're getting all of the flour incorporated into our lovely light batter, and next up we will be adding in our melted butter. There's nothing worse, and it's happened to me so many times, where you think you've mixed it perfectly enough and then you're scraping it into your tins and then bang, you just get this ball of flour that's been hiding in the middle somewhere. So it is worth your while to just spend that extra couple of seconds just to ensure that the bottom of your bowl is nice and mixed as well. So I'm just kind of scooping up from the bottom, and you are naturally going to lose some air out of this because you're mixing it. But again, be as gentle as you can with it. I have my melted butter here. Again, if I add my melted butter just directly on top, it's going to sink down to the bottom. So what I like to do is just take a little bit of the cake mix or the batter that's there, like so, in the little dish. I like to mix this together to kind of create a paste, and then this sits nice and neatly on top of your mixture, so you don't have to mix it as much. And then finally, you're just going to be bringing this all together. It is worth saying, take your time at this stage, okay? We spend so much time weighing up ingredients, whisking up our eggs, getting all that lovely air into it. The last thing we want to do is to knock out any excess air that's in there, okay? So that is my sponge done. I have 2 8-inch sandwich tins that are lined. Do we have a question? We do. Just wondering, yeah, you can add 100%. 1 second. Okay. Yes, so vanilla, 100% if you want to add vanilla. Sometimes even with like a meringue roulade or some of these sponges, some people find them a little bit eggy. So if you want to add a good teaspoon of vanilla extract, I would add it in with the eggs, the sugar and the honey, and then you get like a nice vanilla flavour, 100%. So I meant to say that, so thank you for that, for reminding me of that. And yeah, so some people do find them a little bit eggy. So if you want vanilla extract in with the egg, sugar and honey at the beginning, okay? So now I have my 2 8-inch sandwiches. I like to line the base and the sides because you can grease them with butter and flour them and then turn them out, but I do find that lining them with parchment paper or greaseproof paper really does work out best. So we have this beautiful, light and airy sponge. My oven is preheating at 180 degrees Celsius, so that's about 160 Celsius fan oven. And I have just poured both of those now. Do it by eye, but make sure and get it as close as possible, and there's definitely more needed in that one, so that they bake at the same time, because the last thing you want is for one sponge to be ready to be taken out and the other one then is not baked enough. So that's my 2 sponges ready to rock and roll. Again, no raising agent in here, so we're relying on that air that we've incorporated in for the whisking, the sieving, all of that, and that will help the sponges to rise. These are not going to double, triple in size, but they will rise, but they'll be lovely and airy and light. So 2 8-inch sandwich tins, and they're ready to go into the oven. Preheating, 180 is 160 fan Celsius, and they bake for in around 20, I find 20 minutes for me in my oven is perfect. They might need an additional couple of minutes in your oven, but 20 minutes for me generally is the sweet spot. So I have the oven preheating here. I'm just going to pop those in. Again, try not to bang the trays. I'm just going to set my timer because I will forget. There we go. Try not to bang your lovely sponge tins when you're putting them into the oven. Keep everything really nice and light and airy. So I'm just going to clean off my little table here. And once that's done, as I said, I have 2 sponges that I baked already this morning, and I'm going to show you those now. So these are these 2 sponges. Now the one thing that you can take note of, do you see how level and flat they are? So perfect for sandwiching cakes together. You're getting that beautiful, lovely rise. It probably rises a little bit more than half of what it was. And you get that lovely level rise. I talked about this at the very beginning of the class. There's amount of times that you'll bake a sponge and you use the creaming method with butter and sugar, add in your eggs and then sieve in your flour. But if you overmix it at all, it domes and it peaks on top. And then you have to get your knife out and you're cutting off lumps of a peak on the top, and the sides are too thin, where you can just see how level that bake is. How beautiful and how much easier it is to assemble a cake like that. Another thing I'll always get asked as well about these recipes is, can I make a chocolate Genoise? 100% you can. So just looking over at the recipe here. So if you wanted to make excellent demonstration, and thank you so much, I really appreciate that, Mary. If you want to make a chocolate Genoise, then you can just reduce the amount of flour you're putting in. So there's 115 grams of plain flour in this recipe. You could drop that to about 100 grams of plain flour and add in 15 grams of unsweetened cocoa powder, along with your corn flour, sieve that, and then you get like a lovely kind of a light chocolatey sponge as well. So again, 100% you can. The whole point of this is you don't want to make it too heavy, too dense. The whole thing about a Genoise is that it's springy, it's spongy, but it's lovely and light. Okay, so I have my 2 sponges done. I'm just going to grab my little cake stand here. I'm just going to carefully, now you can see here if I squeeze this, press it down, it comes back up again because I am late to the party. Is this on repeat? Do not worry about being late to the party. You're here now, so that's the most important thing. Talking to everyone about how to make a Genoise sponge. As soon as this video ends, I will save it and it'll be on my page and Jem's page as well with the full recipe, so you can catch up later on. Okay, so as I showed you there, lovely even sponge. Okay, I'm coming in here now. You can use whatever jam you like. I'm going to use some strawberry jam, and I'm just going to spread that all over the base. Now, some people just like to have a jam sponge and just sandwich this with another sponge on top and then serve cream on the side. So if you're doing that, that's 100% a-okay. I like to layer mine with some cream in the middle. You can add in some blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, lemon curd. You know, you can really go like chocolate, obviously the American buttercream, that's your butter, icing sugar and vanilla. I don't bother putting, sorry now, question coming in. Would you use margarine such as stork instead of butter? If you bake with margarine, then 100% go ahead with it. I never bake with margarine because if I'm going to bake, in college we were always trained to bake with butter because it has more flavour. But I totally understand, my granny used to always bake with margarine as well because it's easy. It's at room temperature and it's kind of fast and easy to work with. So I've not made this recipe using margarine, but I can't see any reason why it wouldn't work. So just take your 20 grams of butter that's in the recipe and replace that with 20 grams of margarine and melt it down. And the whole kind of premise with using the butter is for flavour, which I find margarine doesn't have the same flavour, so that's the only thing. But as I said, there should be absolutely no reason why you can replace one with the other and everything will work out a-okay. And that's not me being a snob about butter and margarine, it's just what I've always used is butter, but if you bake with margarine then 100% that's okay. I'm not going to put any sugar or sweeten my cream because I find with the sweetness of the sponge, the sweetness of the jam, it doesn't need it, okay? So I've whipped up some cream, I popped it into a piping bag and it is in the fridge here. And I'm just going to assemble this lovely sponge, okay? So I just have some cream that I've whipped up. And these are the little touches, okay? These are the little touches that take a very simple sponge cake and really elevate it into something just that little bit more special, okay? So again, if you have the time to do it, you can pick up these disposable piping bags. And this is like a medium to large nozzle, star-shaped nozzle that I have in the bag. You're always going to see the side of the sponge when you bring it out. So I always do nice little swirls. So swirls all the way around. I'm not too fussed about the middle, doing swirls in the middle because we're not going to see that. So make sure that you have lovely nice little swirls like that in the outside. I've just piped cream like that into the middle. Next up, I have a little bit of cream left. About, I think, 400 to 500 mils of cream whipped is more than enough for this cake. Carefully going to be lifting this one up here. And again, they're not so delicate that you can't lift them up, but they're lovely and soft and spongy. So I'm just going to pop my second sponge on top. Coming in with my remaining cream, and then there's going to be piping nice little rosettes on top, all the way around. I'm going to do some in the middle here. At this point, you can come in with your icing sugar. If you have some icing sugar, I'm just going to pop a little bit now into my sieve here, and you can just give that a little dusting of icing sugar. I'm going to grab my little knife here, and I'm going to prepare some strawberries to put on top. We've no questions, we're all good. So I'm just going to cut the strawberries and I'm going to arrange these. Now try and pick kind of smaller strawberries that are not too heavy because they're going to push down the cream if they're very, very large strawberries. So try and be a little bit selective, but obviously we are in the middle of Irish strawberry season at the moment, so they're absolutely perfect. So I like to put a nice strawberry on the little rosettes of cream that I've piped. Now this you'd be doing kind of last minute if you're planning to serve it at a lunch or a family get together. I would only do the piping of the cream on at the end, and then I just have one more little strawberry here. I'm going to pop that very simply just on top like that. I'm going to clear away my mess, and that is what I would think is an absolutely beautiful strawberry and cream Genoise sponge. I think that's such a showstopper. It's so classic. It's just your basic flavours of cream, of Irish strawberries, lovely jam in there as well. Yummy indeed. But again, don't be shy on the jam on the base layer, and if some drizzles out over the side, that adds to it as well. But as you can see here, more so than anything, I just want you to look at the layers of the sponges, how even they are. There's no doming, there's no peaking. You're just getting a really lovely, even, light sponge. It's so good. Jane, fabulous and delicious. Thank you for both of those. I'll cut a slice of this now so you can see on the inside. If you want to flavour your Genoise sponge, stunning, thank you so much. Been very informative. Anja, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. You can flavour your sponge like with a little bit of orange zest, with lemon zest. And again, I'd be adding that in with my eggs and my sugar and my honey. Just ensure that if you are going to be adding in a lemon zest or orange zest to flavour your sponge, that you get your zest as fine as possible, okay? Because you don't want large chunks of, basically of your lemon zest or that going through it as well. So gorgeous with all your hints and tips. You're so very welcome. I hope that they have enticed you. A showstopper, I'll take that 100%. Now I'm just going to cut a nice slice out of this here now, and again I think it's nice to see a cross section of the sponge when it's cut and ready to be served. My mouth is watering. You can probably hear it. Looks amazing. I'm sure it tastes well. I'm sure it does. Now going to lift out my lovely sponge here. I'm going to pop that up onto my little plate, and I'm just going to show you now what that looks like. See how even that bake is? You got that gorgeous level even sponge. I'm just going to turn this around as well. There's a little bit of cream here with my name on it. I couldn't help myself, I'm sorry. You can see there. It looks so good, I know. And what I'd say to you is, again, the whole idea of these classes is to show people that there are delicious, nice, tasty recipes out there that work. I've tried these hundreds of times, so this is my go-to Genoise sponge. Really gorgeous. And again, the crumb on that is what we're looking at. It's lovely and evenly baked, and there's no sinking or dipping in the middle. There's no doming or peaking on top. So what I would say to you is this recipe, well, I pop that there. This recipe, along with the other recipes, we will have them up on the Gem website. But for now, when I end this live, I'm going to put the entire recipe that I've just made under this post, okay? So you'll be able to find the full recipe, times, temperatures, ingredients, all that good stuff in the post. I would, thank you so much, Margaret. I will, well done, Shane, looks fantastic. Love your baking classes, thank you so much. Your book is excellent. Really available ingredients. Thank you. That means the world to me as well. My book is called Loaf Tin Bakes. So this is it here. You can order it. Excuse me. That's what I get for eating. Gorgeous. Trying it out, definitely. Loaf Tin Bakes. It is available in all good bookshops nationwide in Ireland, or you can get it on Amazon as well if you're ordering it further afield. 80 recipes using the humble £2 loaf tin. So it is the #1 bestseller, Irish Times and Sunday Times bestseller in Ireland, and it's sitting at number 3 this week in the hardback non-fiction. So 8 weeks after publication, still to be sitting at number 3 is mind-blowing, and that's all down to all of ye and your support, and to all the people that have picked up copies. So I cannot thank you enough. So with that being said, I will stick up the recipe for this lovely Genoise underneath this post. as I said at the very beginning of the class here, Jem has kindly picked up, have your book, love it. Thank you so much, Margaret. Has kindly picked up some copies of the book and they want to give them away to you guys as well. So thank you so much. Congratulations on the book. I appreciate that. So once this live has ended, not now because all your comments will disappear after the live has ended here. Once I have this saved down, if you want to comment your name or tag your best friend, thank you so much for picking up the book. If you want to tag your best friend, make sure that you're following myself, Chef Shane Smith, and Jem, and you will be in with a chance of winning a copy of the book, and they will send a copy out to you. So yes, a lovely prize. The next class will be coming up next month. I won't divulge what it is straight away, but it's a really another popular recipe that lots of people struggle to make at home. So I hope you can join me then. I hope that you enjoyed today's live. It was really lovely to spend the morning with you all. As I said, if you do make this recipe, this is the bit that I absolutely love the most, is when someone makes this recipe at home themselves and shares a picture, whether they send it to me or they can tag me in it, whatever, or Jem. We would absolutely love to see your recreation. So if you do try this one out this weekend or next weekend, please do let us know. We absolutely would love to see it. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your morning to spend it with me here. I'm absolutely salivating. I need to have a slice of this cake. Is it breakfast time? Yeah, it'll classify maybe as brunch. I'm going to have a little slice of this, but a massive thank you all to you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed the live. As I said, it was lovely to spend the morning with you all. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and your weekend, and I'll be talking to you all very soon, okay? Cheers, guys. Thank you so much.